Welcome back to the R6 Masterclass. Today we're going to be doing another 10 tips and tricks. To start this video off, we're actually going to be looking at Maverick. I have 3 tips for people wanting to be better at utilizing Maverick for reasons other than just poking holes in walls, and although that can be fun, for the most part it's not very effective. Now, normally if someone wants to do a semi-silent or a quieter entry, instead of breaking down the entire door, they'll aim at this middle point, knife it, knock out a 3x2 section, and then knife it again, and then it creates a crouchable rotate, without obviously making this kind of noise with the door, which is more of a clear indication of entry. Now, what Maverick can do is a completely silent entry, where he can pretty much come up to a door and just little touch of fire, and a little touch of fire, and it uses very little gas, and then you can sneak in and go all John Wick on them. Now, another thing that Maverick can do is deal with a bandit tricker in ways that bandit tricker never wanted to be touched, which is fantastic. If you run claymores on Maverick, what will end up happening is you can just set your claymore up ahead of time on a reinforced wall and burn out the section on the middle. The lasers will go through, and then bandit be very, very sad. Okay. Now we've understood some of the more quirky side of things, let's talk about Mav tricking. How Mav tricking works is effectively reinforcements. Imagine this wall was reinforced. I know that's difficult having an imagination these days, but the middle line is a connection point, and then the other side is also connection point as well. So the reinforcement, if I just break out a section of this wall, actually wraps around and into about here. So it's kind of like a little L shape in the corners. And that's very important to understand when Mav tricking. So effectively, what you do when Mav tricking is you always want to try and start at the top of the wall. You're going to disconnect like this connection point. And that can sometimes be a bit tricky. And you also have to get this nice, smooth movement with the mouse hand. But when you disconnect this middle section, you'll hear like sheet metal falling. And sometimes it does take a little bit more gas on that section to get it disconnected. And the same for the corner. Now, also for Maverick is another thing that's really quite useful for conserving gas is learning how to Mav trick efficiently. Now, I'm not hyper efficient at this, but some people can do this very, very quickly. And if you get just the right angle, you can utilize way less gas on burning out certain sections. But you really have to make sure that bottom corner is disconnected. Now you can see all the wooden bars inside the wall have pretty much just vanished, right? That means that this is just effectively a hollow wall. If I just pump some bullets into it, you'll be able to see that there's like none of that connection in the middle, and it's potentially very, very easy to shoot open. Bring in a buck or a sledge, or even someone with a grenade to help you open this. Can be very effective, but you can just shoot it open if needed.
Is no longer in your possession.
Alright, moving on to the next 2 tips. Finka not only is a fantastic operator with one of the most disgusting LMGs in the game, but her ability outside of just healing your teammate or reviving them can actually do many, many different things. Now, the juiced effect can increase your ADS speed. It was supposedly supposed to be taken out, but as you can see, we're getting a good feel for how the ADS speed is when juiced. We'll let it go away, and now you can see it's much, much slower. It's not a massive improvement in ADS speed, it's more like just kind of removing a hollow and running iron sights type ADS speed increase, but this can be quite helpful for shields, not only healing them after their toes have been well and truly shot off. Another thing that Thinker Boost can do is echo drones, elemines, that type of stunned effect. It can just remove it. If you hear an elemine go off, you boost, that person instantly can then see again, hear again. Well, apart from the stage 4 hearing disorder that the Thinker Boost gives you. And it's the same for echo drones. It can clear the dizziness effect, which is something that not a lot of people actually know about Thinker. Okay, and for tip number 6 is how to get your claymores to effectively show their lasers through walls. Now, reinforced walls will have these wooden segments inside, and this is a somewhat annoying thing in trying to do this, because you'll try and put the bullet holes in the wall, and you'll actually just be straight shining a laser into one of these beams, which will then block the line of sight. A good way of checking is if you come up to a wall, you look down and punch. That way it will not punch all the way through, and you'll be able to see if there is any wooden section. As you can see, there's one here. So what I want to do is I want to just punch out this point here, come up to it with a claymore, and then make sure that the laser shines through that, and then where it touches the wall, can be sometimes difficult to see, put a bullet hole in the wall, allowing the laser to shine through, and that way when an enemy walks past, it's good night, sleep tight. If you've ever wondered how these videos are produced, it is quite literally just a lot of me throwing myself off of a roof. Alright, for the next few tips, we're going to be looking at Thermite. I do believe this will be 7 and 8. Now, Thermite charges have an insane blast radius. On maps like Consulate, this means that you can pretty much do this with any hard breacher. Habana works, I do believe here, potentially even Ace to a certain degree, but it would still take 2 charges to open the hatch. But Thermite is especially good. If Thermite isn't banned and they've banned Ace and they've gone downstairs for the first round or something, you know, they're feeling good. You know, you banned Mirror, they still got Cade. They're confident, right? They're going to keep that hatch closed for a decent amount of time. It's actually very, very easy to open the hatch. You can place this Thermite charge on any side of the wall, as long as it's close enough to the hatch. But obviously if you place it in the middle, even if it's slightly off-centered, as long as it's within this range, the Thermite charge itself will blow through the wall and open the hatch. It's called a Thermite trick for the hatch. This also works if you was to place a Thermite charge like really close to the edge of the hatch like this. If the hatch is electrified, you do not want the Thermite charge touching the metal, but that's fine because it's not too hard to get it placed correctly. Trying to do this with Ace charges, though, is a little bit more difficult, as once you've thrown them, that's it. You can't just keep going, can I put it here? No. Can I put it here? No. Can I put it here? Ah, yes, that's good enough, right? Another thing that Thermite charges can do is open up, let's say this wall was reinforced, from above, and it will open up like half the wall. So if you wanted to, you could come over here to Thermite trick the hatch effectively if there wasn't broken debris, and then when you detonate this, it would also open up whatever part of this reinforced wall is. If they have the head holes on this side and this side reinforced, it would open the hatch and the wall, utilizing only one Thermite charge, making when your team's taking the site, making it harder for them to hold the backside take, because now this is open and you can see directly through both the sites. Voila! 2 tricks that you need to know with Thermite. Okay, for the last 2 tips will be ways that you can utilize a deployable shield. Now, just before you click off this video, have a little listen and see if you knew this about deployable shields. Now, a lot of people obviously know that you can connect them to doorways, right? Happy days. But this way you don't leave any gaps. Now, another thing that people will do is they'll place them a little bit further back. But if you've ever had the issue where your deployable shield is connecting, a little tip is to look straight down, and you'll be able to get these placements that are extremely close to doorways, allowing you to create these like really annoying, disgusting little ratty pixel gaps. Now, another thing that is extraordinarily annoying when someone is utilizing a deployable shield is actually reversing the placement. Instead of placing a deployable shield like this around the corner and then playing on it like this, what you could actually do to change the angles that you're getting is come up to the door frame and reverse place the deployable shield, allowing you to get like some peeks maybe through this wall into the bathroom, for example, and then actually play off the deployable looking out to this direction. There's a bunch of places where you can do this in tight corners and other things like that. Another one of these angles that could potentially be beneficial is something at the top of these stairs. Now, if I came over to this door and I did a reverse placement, give it to, no, in the door, not in the door. That might be it. We may be cooking here. Is like this. So you can create these really annoying pixel peaks because the shield is staggered. Now, for the final tip is that you can actually shoot through the gaps in the shield. Now, why is this useful? When, for example, let's say that they, I don't know, we're playing piano below or something, right? And we want to defend the main lobby. If I just open up a section of the floor, we're going to be able to see where the floor beams are running. Now, this is quite important. If we want to create a really nasty angle on these beams to look down into the lobby, we can literally peek off of these like gaps in the shield down into the lobby, creating these almost impossible one-way pixels. This is potential in many spots across the map, but another thing that you can do, which is really annoying, is if you place the shield just over one of these beam lines and then you open up the floor, you can create almost a bunkered pixel peak. Now you have to experiment in a way with these, you know, to really get those angles to be absolutely nasty. And you can create really shitty gaps to peek people off of. And then also you can reverse it and peek through the cracks in the shield. Now you can peek up through deployable shield gaps as well. So there's a lot of nasty things that you can do with deployable shields. It's just dependent on the situation that you're building this around. Thank you for watching this masterclass. As always, links are in the description to my other channels, and if you potentially want to see other content, I might start streaming soon on Twitch. As always, some videos are popping up on the screen if you want to see something else, like how to set up sites or how to spawn peek people and operate a masterclass. Maybe you want to better that individual skill outside of just a few tips. Let me know if you want to see something being covered in the comments as well. Other than that, have a great day.